Did you know that households in the UK throw away something like 14 million tonnes of food per annum? 14 million tonnes. And it's no good thinking that you can just take that banana skin and throw it in that rubbish bin over there. Oh, no, 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 no. Because it is now illegal to put food waste into bins and into landfill. So yeah, that's not going to happen. But it does mean, of course, that our food waste has to be looked after somehow, somewhere, and by somebody. And what happens here for us, where we live here, it gets collected courtesy of the council, and it goes on a 100-mile round trip to be processed in an anaerobic digester. Now, a 100-mile round trip is not exactly very carbon friendly. And I figured to myself that if this food waste is valuable to somebody else, then surely it should be valuable to us too, here where we live. But what are we going to do with it? My name is Leonie, and I'm a community gardener, and I work on several community gardens around here, and we grow delicious, nutritious, organic and seasonal fruit and vegetables. We don't use any pesticides, any herbicides or any fertilizers. We just use a generous dollop once a year of compost on each bed, about 3 to 5 centimetres, and then that's it, job's done, Bob's your uncle. We make our own compost. We use the green waste from the gardens, and we use our vegetable peelings, but we can just never seem to make enough of the stuff. So we're always having to buy in more. And for the community gardens, that is a big outlay to us. We spent way over £500 last year on compost alone. And we also buy in bagged compost. And if you think about it, that bagged compost has had to travel somewhere to get bagged up. Then it's had to travel to some sort of warehouse or distribution point. Then it's had to travel to the shops. Then you've had to travel to the shops to go buy it, and then you've travelled with it to wherever it is you're going to take it. It's not exactly that carbon friendly. So I'm figuring, we've got all this food waste. Why don't we just compost it? Why don't we set up some sort of communal community composting hub? And we could teach individuals how to compost in their own backyards. And we could invite schools and colleges to come and learn about the composting process. Because there's a fair old bit to learn. There's quite a bit to find out about. And for example, you can't compost cooked food in exactly the same way as you might raw ingredients. So yeah, there's a fair old science to it. And oh wow, if you look at compost under a microscope, it is a whole new world. Yeah, but then it has to be said I am something of a compost nerd. So yeah. So if we got really good at this composting lark, well, then we could invite the cafes, the restaurants, the schools and the hospitals to come and give us their food waste as well. And then we could make loads of compost, maybe even invest in the big boy composters, the aerobic composters, which are capable of processing over 120 kilograms of food waste per day. and making compost in as little as 2 weeks. Now, there is a business model for this, and it's being rolled out across France by a group called Les Alchimistes, the alchemists. And they are indeed making gold. They're making black gold. They are transferring their food waste into compost. They pay people to go out on electric bikes, collecting up the food waste in trailers behind them, taking it back to the composting hub, making the compost, and then selling it in their shop. Wouldn't it be great if we were to do that here? Yes. Wouldn't it be great if we could do that here? Yes. That's a bit more like it. Yeah, but do you know, the frustrating thing about these aerobic composters, do you know they're actually manufactured in the UK, and they send most of their stuff abroad. And I can't believe that we lack the same sort of initiative as the alchemists. You know, they're just, yeah. So, if you want to find out about composting, then pop along to your local community garden and they'll be able to tell you all about it. But if, like me, you think that perhaps we should be thinking about keeping our food waste and doing something with it here and maybe setting up some sort of composting hub, then that's the sort of conversation we need to have as a community. And you can find me later on and let me know what you think about it, because I'd be interested to know. But wouldn't it be great, though, if we did make our own compost? Because then we'd be putting it back on our gardens, in our community gardens, on our parks, maybe even our local farms. And we would be using that food waste, turning it into compost. So let's use it and not lose it. My name is Leonie, and thank you for being here and listening.